collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Deluxe Class Terran Thrash from the Transformers EarthSpark line from Hasbro. So still a few of these guys left. Still haven't found Soundwave, still haven't found Cosmos, but I think those are probably the last two after Thrash here. Got some little product shots of the robot mode and the vehicle mode here on the side. Got some nice artwork of the robot mode and the vehicle mode here on the front. Still have the open packaging here, since this was before they brought the window back. You can see the artwork kind of wrapping around to the side over here. Got the two kids there on the top, not really anything going on the bottom, and then spinning it around to the back. Same product shots of the robot mode and the vehicle mode. He does not have the sidecar this time, which is something that the Warrior class did that I thought was kind of cool. Unfortunately, we lose that here. We still have this big shield piece, but now it just kind of attaches to the back, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead, get him out of the packaging here, and we'll take a closer look. So here is Thrash out of the packaging, and I gotta say, he's actually a pretty cool little dude. I do like the Warrior class one, and I thought I was fine with that, but I'm actually really glad I picked this up. He's got a pretty cool robot mode here. Not really a lot of kibble going on, really just this panel here on the back, which isn't too bad. And he does have the wheels on the back of the legs, but I feel like they don't really get in the way of anything, so I don't really mind them being back there. Head sculpt, I think, is pretty good. I do kind of wish the eyes and the face weren't almost exactly the same color. I kind of wish the eyes popped a little bit, but they are kind of a slightly lighter blue. They're kind of the same blue as the light here on the front. And I do really like the goggles. Those are really nicely painted and detailed. The metallic paint used for like these joints in the face, it's a nice color, and I do like the overall color scheme, but I just kind of wish, you know, they had picked a different, and that's not really the toy's fault. It's the designer's fault for, you know, the show and everything, having those colors be so similar. But still really like the head sculpt there. He's got kind of a fun little happy expression. Some really nice gold paint down here on the sides of the hips, as well as the metallic blue here for kind of the upper thighs. Really nice gold paint for the inside of the wheels. I think that looks really sharp. A little bit of gunmetal gray here for the top of the feet, as well as here on kind of the front of the forearms. So yeah, overall, I think he looks good. I think the paint applications are nice. Articulation-wise, head is on kind of a limited ball joint. He can look down a little bit, look up ever so slightly, spin side to side, no problem. You have a nice ball joint here for the shoulder, so you can get pretty good out to the side movement as well as rotation. Then there's a ball joint here on the side of the arm, so this can kind of go all the way out, which is mostly for the transformation, but it is a little weird. But it does kind of give him his bicep swivel, as well as the 90-degree bend there in the elbow. Then you have a wrist swivel. Nice waist swivel there. Hips have a really great range of motion. Kick all the way forward, all the way back, all the way out to the side. Great range of motion there. They're not inhibited by anything. Got a thigh swivel there, 90 degrees. Pretty much at the knee, you do kind of hit into the wheels a little bit, but I feel like it's enough. And then the ankles down here, there's a swivel, as well as an ankle tilt, and technically you can also move the toe as part of the transformation if you want. So really nice range of motion there in the ankle. I think that works. But yeah, he's a fun little robot. I like him quite a bit. I think they gave him a great amount of articulation. Like I said, he's very, you know, symmetrical, doesn't have a ton of kibble. Just a fun little robot mode all the way around. I like him a lot. Now he does come with two accessories. So you have this kind of basic little gun, very tiny, very basic. Just fits into his hand, no problem. And then I kicked it right back out again, perfect. But yeah, it just pegs right in. And then he has this giant, like, shield piece, which looks like it has another wheel. I'm assuming this is supposed to be the sidecar, like, you know, smushed up to be a shield, because that's kind of how the Warrior class worked. It was like a cannon and a shield piece, and then it transformed into the sidecar. Obviously, it's just a static piece of plastic here, but if you want to put it on his forearm there as a shield, you can. I think it's a little lazy. This is really the only part of the figure I don't really care for. Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't really do anything for me. I'm assuming I can attach this onto the back if I would like. Yeah, I think it'll fit on there. So if you want to store it on the back, you can. It's not the best connection, but you can kind of get it on there. Maybe that's a little better. Not going to fall off, but it's kind of a tenuous connection. But if you wanted to store it on the back, you can. I kind of just want to put it off to the side and completely forget about it, if I'm being honest. The little pea shooter, I think, is kind of cool. Just, you know, molded in simple black plastic, but I don't know. This just really doesn't do anything for me. I don't need that at all, but yeah, I do think the robot mode's pretty cool. I like the articulation. Color scheme, kind of basic, but it works. Yes, he's kind of a lot of generic, like, white, creamish color, but I do think the blue really pops and a little bit of gold accents. Overall, pretty cool. Thrasher's transformation is actually pretty cool and a little bit more intricate than you might expect. We're going to start by just kind of moving the arms up out of the way, really just for clearance for now. And then we are going to rotate the legs in towards each other at the thigh swivel so that the wheels are kind of pointing out, because then we're going to put them up like this. So now they're kind of facing up. We're going to come down to this leg first. You can see the pin right here. This is going to separate like I showed earlier. The toe is going to flip up like this. Then you can see that there's a little swivel right there. And then you're going to close this back up like so. You're going to come over to this foot, and this will open the same way, but this one does not have a swivel. So you're just going to kind of open the toe up and leave it like that. And then you're going to rotate this part forward. And then you can see the hinge right here. That is going to bend like this. And then you can pull the little kickstand out, and then you're going to just close that up like that. So at this point, you're going to start bending them in, kind of the reverse knee bend. And then they're also going to bend at this pin right here. So this tab is going to come up and nestle in here. So you want to bring this up. But you also have, and I think I missed the swivel here. Yeah, this should be like this. So this little tab right here is going to tab in right here. So you kind of line this up so that they can go in. But at the same time, you have to bring these up all the way so that they kind of tab into the thigh like that. And then you're going to line that up so that that can connect in there as well. So there you go. So that is the legs all together. So they're tabbed in here. They're tabbed into each other right there. And you can see that the legs are kind of facing inward like that. Then you're going to rotate him at the waist so he's kind of facing forward. You're going to flip this part down. You can see that there are two large tabs here that are going to tab in there and there. You might have to just kind of move this around a little bit so that it lines up. But then that is going to tab in just like that. The midsection here is going to flip up to cover the head. And then this section here is going to flip up to fill in that section. And you have a really nice Terran symbol there on the top. I think that's really nicely detailed. I like that a lot. So now we're going to kind of bring this back down, and you can see that there is a tab right there, which is going to kind of tab into this piece. You can see it a little better from this side. This is going to come in, if I can move the arm out of the way, and tab in right there. So you can see how that tabs in. Then you're going to take the arms, and you are going to bring these up, and then you have to rotate them and bend them back down like that. So bring this like that. And then I think you want to just point the hands down so you can just swivel them. If you don't swivel them, it's really not that big a deal. But then what's going to happen is this little section right here is going to tab into these sections right here. So like right there and there is going to tab into there and there. And you're going to utilize this hinge. So this is going to come down. I kind of like to leave this up a little bit just to make it a little easier. But this is going to come down, and then these are going to tab on right here and here. Like that. And then this is going to come down and tab on this one. And then this is going to fit into these little spots here on the shoulder pads. So bring this down, and that will fit in there. Okay, I have this a little, and for whatever reason, this falls off way too easily. I don't really understand why, because it's just, I mean, it's just lightly pegged on there, it pops right back on, but you can also kind of lift this up, so if you want to just leave it like that and close it back up, you can do that too, but there we go. So there is Thrash in vehicle mode. So yeah, I think Thrash's vehicle mode is actually pretty cool. It's fairly symmetrical. It looks nice and clean. Doesn't really have like a ton of weird parts hanging off anywhere. Wheels spin pretty nicely. Like I said, you can kind of open up the little toe here to close that up and then close this back up so you can have them driving around without the kickstand out. Yeah, the wheels spin pretty nicely. Like I said, I really like that Terran symbol there on the, I guess, hood of the bike, we'll call it. But yeah, pretty nice. Nice paint application here for the seat. Everything feels pretty solid, holds together well. If you want to take this giant piece and peg it in here on the back, you can. I think it looks kind of ridiculous. And then you can peg the gun into that if you like. Or you can just take this off completely, and we'll take the gun back off, and we'll just peg the gun on here, which I think looks much better. So yeah, I gotta be honest, this piece is a huge swing and a miss to me. It does nothing for me in robot mode. It certainly does nothing for me in vehicle mode. It just makes it look, you know, cluttered and goofy on the back, whereas I feel like this is kind of a nice streamlined bike mode. It actually looks nice, feels cohesive, doesn't even really have too many gaps in there. I mean, of course there are some, but as far as bike modes go, I feel like everything's pretty compact and looks, you know, proper. I actually really like this. I like it a lot more than I was expecting to. So yeah, pretty cool little bike mode here. I actually like Thrash a lot more than I was expecting to. I had the Warrior class figure already, and I thought that was perfectly fine. But I actually really like this figure quite a bit. I think the lighter whitish cream color works a little better than the darker gray of the Warrior class. And even though it is kind of a blander color, you have those nice pops of silver, gold, and teal that really kind of make the rest of the rather subdued color scheme work well. I really like the head sculpt. I think that looks great. I do kind of wish the eyes and the face weren't almost the same color, but the eyes are definitely a lighter shade of blue, so they do stand out a little bit. I love the goggles. I think those are really nicely detailed and painted. The little gun that's included, you know, it's nothing special, but it's perfectly fine. This piece is just completely worthless, in my opinion. I mean, if you like it, by means, you know, more power to you, but I feel like it was just included to substantiate the price point, and I don't need it for anything. I don't think it works really well in either mode. So to me, throw it in a bin, forget about it, and just enjoy the rest of the figure. These are still $19.99. I don't know if they're going to see a price increase like everything else has, but I kind of feel like since this line is on its way out, they probably won't bother. If you can find this guy for retail, I definitely recommend checking him out. If you don't have the Warrior class, then I think this is a definite obvious pickup. If you have the Warrior class and you don't really feel like upgrading, I can understand, but I think there is something nice about this figure that you'll enjoy, even if you do already have the Warrior class. And yeah, I mean, the transformation's a little finicky at first. You might take 1 or 2 times to really get the hang out of it, but once you do, it'll be really perfectly fine. And I think he's a fun little figure. Definitely caught me by surprise. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thank you so much for watching.